Actually, dude, this is like our 1 year kind of celebration of Enlightened Millennial. I mean, we've grown, I think, significantly. I would never imagine myself to be on the show. Like this is considered a show now,
Oh
you
yeah.
know. And just to how like I said, some people have a blog, some people have a journal that they keep track of their progress, and this show really holds me accountable. And one of the should we jump in the questions right away or
No, no, let's keep going, man. We,
keep
we,
going?
we actually get questions, but what we're gonna do is I think some of the questions will feed into topics, and then we'll do a little
Yeah.
Q&A at the end.
No,
So
no.
why don't you continue on? Yeah.
Well, the reason why I'm referring to the questions is because, as a lot of viewers may or may not know, I'm working on a project with a friend. Shout out to Jonathan Romero for his crazy mind. He came up with a fidget spinner, and although these are just prototypes, it holds me very accountable to, check up on my progress from, like, I don't know, what I said a year ago or a
Right.
couple months ago, and just know that we literally have like all the pieces of the puzzle together. All we got to do is put it just we have to put them in order in a way. We have all the connections, all everything, and it's just crazy that a year later it's just ready to go. Or you've a year later you have done so much that it just equals a success in a way, man. And it's crazy.
Yeah, it's
Yeah, I
crazy.
was talking to him yesterday, and it's just we were getting so excited. Like, man, we have our licensee ready to print them out for us.
Oh, great.
So
Awesome.
I don't want to give his name out or anything like that, but we should have working flickers, not the sleeve, but version 1 is the entire lighter body ready to go. Like, we should have it in our hand in 2
All right.
months.
Perfect, man.
It's just
That's
nuts.
great.
It's crazy.
That's fantastic, man. Yeah, it was like really cool because was it what is that, a time lapse? What do they call it on Facebook?
Time lapse.
Okay, yeah, whatever the terminology is. But you know what's cool, because I think, especially, I know both of us, some degree with, especially me, dude. I didn't even have social media up until like the
Right,
first
yeah.
time I joined it was like, I think 2014. I got on Facebook, never really used it. In 2016, yeah, I went on Instagram for the first time. I made my first post, like my personal, in 2017. So I was never not on social media at all. And like now, dude, it's crazy because my entire life revolves around
Yeah,
social
you
media.
can.
I'm literally everywhere. So
Yeah, yeah.
like your first thing you see on email, then with EM and all the shit that we're doing all the time. And it's, I was just like remarking, if someone is in this room right now in a little studio, we have 1, 2, 3, 4 mics on. We have another mic there. We have our phone with EM on. So we're pretty much ever. Okay, so Jesse's saying that they cannot hear us. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna go. So for everyone on Azith, make sure you go on the Enlightened Millennial, because I just understand that the sound is not working there.
Okay.
All right.
All right. Go
All
to
right.
check out the Enlightened
Yep.
Millennial.
Check out the Enlightened Millennial.
Tech issues. Please stand by while we. No.
Yeah, so we're pretty much everywhere, so that's pretty cool. But I think the big takeaway with this is it does take some time, and I think I sometimes too, like, people see it now, and I know we get into a lot. Man, we get all these followers. Like, is this real? What's going on? And I think a big part of it too is everything. Like, for us to get to this point, it takes a lot of fucking work. Like, even today, dude. Just getting here, setting everything up, like, I was like, oh man, I had a whole checklist today of like everything I had to do to get here.
Yeah.
So it's just like it's a lot of work, and I think while the barrier to entry, like I always say, in the internet is quite low. Because everyone can get started, because there's so many people competing. The quality, the what people actually tolerate for quality has to be super high for you to even get, like, I think there's a ceiling with like 100 or 200 views, and then after that, dude, you got to be really fucking good. And I see it on Instagram all the time. They get like 40, 50 likes and shit, and then people get stuck on that. And then I think after that, you have to have really fucking good content.
Content
Content has to be good quality.
And
I
also
think it's huge.
And also consistency, because a lot of people, I think it was you who told me the statistic, or someone else, after like 7 episodes or something like that, they just fall off or something like that, right? I mean, so the fact that we have 40 plus episodes a year later, that's I think it's a huge plus, a huge. But the only reason why we made it so far is just we have all the support from all the followers. I mean,
right.
And I couldn't. Like, I don't know. I wish I knew every one of you personally, but a massive thank you for the support so far. And I don't know. This is only a year. Like, I don't see. I don't want to stop this. Are you crazy? I'm not going anywhere. I'm sure. I know you're not going anywhere. You said you were moving to New York, but I don't know.
Yeah, man. I've been here I've been here long, man. So for me, I actually moved around most of my life. So I've been here in Boston since right before college, man. So it's been a, it's crazy because we're
Where you
getting.
going, man? Don't move away. Where you going?
No, no, no. I'm not moving away. But sometimes you're just like, yeah, I like traveling a lot. So
Yeah,
sometimes having
yeah,
the option to move away is quite alluring, man.
yeah. Well, so
Well, so I think so. There's a couple of big topics that I wanted to talk about
hmm
because, and they're gonna phase into the questions that we've been getting. So a lot of people have been asking on my. I get a lot on my personal DM actually today because I opened that up,
yeah,
and I'm actually trying to get people to also ask us questions and use the story on Azith. My man Jesse is on there. He's killing it on Azith right now.
I
So
see it.
ask.
Azith is the.
I know it's really fucking awesome. Super happy to have him on. So definitely use those stories. But on my personal DM, I get a shit ton of questions. So today, one of the questions I got. Let's start with this funny one. So first, people ask me, "What is your biggest pet peeve, Leo? What's your biggest pet peeve, man?"
I think if you just take 5 seconds, I think.
No, go ahead, go ahead. I know
All right.
I know you well enough. Where,
All my friends know, and I'm not gonna say dislike. I hate being late.
yes,
Other people, myself, and so things happen. Like you can miss a train, or I don't know what. You leave your house just a minute after, and then something. That's fine. You're gonna be late, but then just let me know. Send me a message, give me a call, or there's no reason for that component that to not to be transparent. If you're late, let me know. But if I don't hear from you for like half an hour, 45 minutes, my pet peeve is being late. You're wasting my time. You're wasting your time. You're wasting everybody's time. I'm gonna leave. I'm gonna like
wow,
I'll go back. All right. We'll have to reschedule then.
right.
Anyways, that's my pet peeve. What about yours?
Yeah, for me, I've already talked about. I think I talk about pet peeve every time I rant on here. But lately, I think communication, and I think people who don't follow back, I find that super disrespectful. And people know that. Like, I don't like that. I don't. I think it's less of a pet peeve. I think for me, my biggest, it really stems out of the root that. And this is really important, I think, a takeaway. As you start growing yourself,
Mm-hmm.
you feel that you have this kind of duty to help others along the way. And you start seeing other people's failures, and you recognize because you recognize where you were like 3, 4, 5, 6 months ago, right? So say sometimes you're doing your own self development. You're starting to wake up early, and you're man. If I had done this earlier, holy shit, I would have been so much further.
Right.
But as you're doing that, you recognize in your friends and other peers and people
Oh
that you
yeah.
meet, and you're like, oh shit, they're doing, and you want to kind of like, I've talked
Uh,
about this before, but you want to kind of like tell them, dude, you're fucking your life up right now.
yeah.
And I think one of the things I see that a lot when people do it, and I know a lot of people because they come to me and they're super hungry, right? They're like, dude, I want to make it to the next level. I want to do X, Y, Z, but I see them do small things completely incorrect.
Right.
And for me, it's more like I don't. It's not about you're not like they'll send me a message and I'll respond, and they just won't respond.
Hmm.
And for me, in my mind, I'm like, what the fuck is wrong with you? And it's less about me caring because to
Yeah.
be
Yeah.
really frank, there's a lot of things I really care about, but this is not really that important to me. But I actually find it that they're letting an opportunity go, and what's the worst about it that they don't even know. And I think that this is the biggest problem. I think, and I really that's why I think we were talking about the other day whether entrepreneurship and success and getting to the next level is
Mm-hmm.
something that's inborn or is a skill you can train.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why recently I've been definitely been leaning towards there's certain inclinations that we already have that we're
Mm-hmm.
born with as characteristics, what our parents taught us, what environment we grew up in. And I see small traits and I can tell that those small traits that people have, no matter where they are superficially, like, they watch all the videos all day and they're
Mm-hmm.
going to get to the next level.
Mm-hmm.
On the root, on the foundation level, they're just not there, and they're never gonna get there because the foundations are so fucking weak. It's like you build a house on like shit. And that's what it
100%.
is.
Well, I was gonna ask you if you read that book by Ray Dalio, but you borrowed me, you loaned me the book, so yes, you have.
Noah, what's up, man? Noah, big Noah's
Noah?
watching.
Hey, what's up, Noah, man? But what you said is like when you see yourself progressing
Right,
and you want to help, it's like it's literally enlightenment, right?
right,
You know something and you want to share that knowing, and you want to share that part of enlightenment with other people, especially your friends, your close friends, and once you tell them that little secret to how I think this behavioral change, like I don't know, waking up early or being disciplined or not procrastinating, whatever it is, if they don't listen to you, I don't know, like it's the part about believability, being believable, being a believable person
hmm
as to something that that's working for you, and not only working for you, but you read it somewhere or it's consistent among all the high achievers or high performers, and you tell this person, hey, dude, try this out. Like it's worked for me. I didn't believe it at first, but try this, and it may revolutionize your life. That's the most you can give your friends, man. And I've tried it. I'm still doing it, and some people are taking it in more than others. But
Oh, this
I
is
think
so huge, man.
it's just the
It's huge.
concept of being a believable person.
Right. Well, people ask me all the time. Actually, this is a great question because I've been doing. I just give away a lot of shit for free.
Yeah.
I like give people like you call me. I need this, and I'll just tell you everything. I'll tell you everything you want to know.
Yeah.
I'll spend 3-4 hours and tell you everything. We're even as of putting out so much. Everything's free, books, ebooks, and writing everything. We are starting a new thing where you can call me and I'll just pick up the phone. I'll just talk to you for 2 or 3 hours. I just no charge, nothing. Okay,
But
so
that's time frame.
I mean, maybe it's like an hour. It's like a slot. So okay, so the question that I've gotten, and because I'm in the industry, right? So people's like, for Prady, like, if you go give away all like everything you know, like, aren't you afraid that people are just gonna know what you know and then compete with you? And here's what I always tell them: I was like,
Oh, I can't wait for this.
I was like, man, out of all the people that I talk to, every fucking person I talk to in some way or the other, out of that, 0.0001% is actually going to give a fuck what I said, and then from that, their smaller fraction is actually ever going to do anything I ever told them about. So honestly, I don't really care because I can tell people all the time. I can sit here on this thing, and people are going to listen. And they're not going to take any. They just don't take anything. And so first, there's two things that happen. Number one, people just check out and they don't do anything with it. They're like the networkers that just do networking for a checklist.
Yep.
Or there's other people, they just don't believe it, and they're like, no, it's not. I
Yeah,
know
that's
we
not
get this a
true.
lot, but the problem with that is like, at the end of the day, like, well, this is. I mean, I'm giving it to you. I have nothing to. There's no agenda behind it. If I was selling a course, or if I was selling people, I just don't sell anything. So I literally have absolutely. I have nothing to I have nothing to offer,
hide
like
or-
to give, like as fact, and like I have nothing to sell, right? So, and I think that's the big part of me, and I people always like, well, aren't you giving away your trade secrets? No, because when it comes to self-development and motivation getting to the next level, most people, you can tell them everything, but they still think they don't believe you. Or they don't believe you because they're just too lazy and they don't want to, or they're scared of their own success, or they
Yeah.
think you're lying, or
Yeah.
you think that you're not telling them the real thing.
Right.
If you just listen, go on YouTube for like 5 hours, listen to some of the top guys speak like an hour, you have everything needed to succeed. You have everything.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
people won't do it. How come people go to Tony Robbins like conferences every fucking year, and then they go back the next year, and then they go back the next year?
Right.
Didn't you learn anything? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
So I'm
yeah.
not worried about the competition because I know most people are not going to take shit away from it.
You know,
So-
on top of that, like if you are already doing those, how you say, displaying those behaviors,
right.
then that person has to still also kind of get to your, like, he still has to start to get into those behaviors and start to get to your level. But
Right.
that, like I know how of a high achiever you are, and they still have to compete against you, man. And that or me
Right.
or whoever else there is
Right.
out to do great things, and they have to. It's like they're playing catch up in a way.
Right. Sure.
You know, so you're telling them basically, hey, listen, this is what I'm doing. Try it out. You know, here's try it out for 30 days, like a 30-day free pass, whatever, and see if it works for you. And that's all you're giving to them. And even, okay, it does work for you. You can try and compete against me, but I've been doing it for years, man. Like, you know, you're not going anywhere.
No, and I think the people that have actually really, because there's people online, and I can, you know, once you are on that path, you're like a vampire. You know, like vampires can recognize other vampires, and the reason why, because, and the same thing when it comes to self development, you can see sometimes people are talking shit. Like, a lot of people are wealthy and they become these coaches, and they became wealthy by being coaches. They didn't become wealthy by doing shit. So there's some guys online, like one of the guys that, you know, I don't agree with everything he said, but I follow his shit. I really like Gary Vee because Gary Vee actually, you look him up, he actually has grown a business before. He came on Instagram. He actually did some shit before. So yes, right now his income and stuff has exploded because of Ask Gary Vee. But before that, he actually did some shit. Same with Ray, all these guys. Like, they have actually done something.
Right.
And then there's guys online that you can't find anything they've ever done besides the public speaking. Like, they became immediately a self-motivational self-guru.
Why is that, though?
Because they can sell people on that shit. It's very easy, dude. I can go on Instagram right now.
motivational, though,
Well,
right?
if I'm a good speaker right now, right? So I can be like, dude, I can motivate people on this fucking mic. I have a medium. I can talk about motivation. I can regurgitate stuff
Yeah.
and sell packets and courses. If I went online right now on Instagram, I can sell $7,000 courses.
Yeah, yeah.
But the question is, and you can recognize that once you go in self-development, who's actually really done their work and who hasn't.
Yeah.
So the people that are actually okay giving away shit for free, just like, dude, I don't care if you want to, because
Try
for
it
me, it's like it's not something. There was no course that I bought in order to get here. It's because it's been so many years. I've been doing this for so many fucking years. Like
Yeah.
since I'm at 14, 15, I started self development shit. Right.
Must be
So
ingrained in you.
yeah, but so for me, it's like I don't see as other people like, oh man, if I give someone my trade secrets, if I tell you what's in Azith, which everyone can see, that I don't feel threatened by it, you know.
Yeah,
And I
yeah.
also know deep down, people are not. They're not going to do it.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
we have millions of followers of that Gary Vee has, but how many of those people ever do anything with their life or start a side
Right.
hustle? They don't. You know why
Right.
is that? You know.
Good point.
I think that's a
Good point.
that's a big mind fuck. So that's my. I guess it goes to answer a long-winded answer of what the biggest pet peeve is, man.
Yeah. So don't ask advice just for the sake of asking advice.
Yeah.
Right.
So let's do another one. I think this is a good one because a lot of people have actually asked me to. I was in Dover with Justin, and there was a couple other guys before, and they've asked me about whether you and I hang out outside the show. They want to know because we're very serious when it comes to the show a lot of times.
Listen, guys. Let me tell you something. There's this favorite place we like to go to. It's called Yvonne's downtown Boston.
What goes on? What goes down in Yvonne's?
I don't know, man. Sometimes it's just a blur. Like sometimes it feels like we're there.
What is Yvonne's? What is Yvonne's?
Yvonne's is a
For people not in Boston, they got to know what it is.
Yvonne's is a upscale kind of. During the day, I've never been there during the day. Prady may has. I don't know. I've never been there. But it's at night. It's just this kind of dark lounge-ish, but it's not too dark. It's very cozy, very warm, welcoming, and they're always the prettiest girls there. And I think from experience, we can say that, you know, it's been pretty accommodating. If you wanna.
Well, it's great. It's very. I always tell people is like, you know, especially a lot of guys, because it takes quite a bit of investment. I think the whole like dating game and stuff and like going out. I've always felt so when I was in the process of developing myself, and I always say that you're gonna have to sacrifice a time in your life, whether it's your teenage years or 20 to 25. I sacrificed from age 17 until age 25 or 26. I totally sacrificed, and people right now won't really know that because they'll be like, "Dude, fuck, you were always out, you were doing all the time." But the people from college and stuff, you gotta ask them like, "The fuck, where was Prady? I never see this guy." I'm not even on the internet. I'm disappeared, right?
Yeah.
And so I think for a lot of guys going through self development, I think that they spend a lot of resources and time on a lot of the social shit. So one of the reasons, just a side note, where we go to Yvonne's is because we where our studio is, where we record, is right in downtown Crossing, and Yvonne's is literally like a rock throw away. So I always convince myself, dude, it's like a no investment. So like we can just go down and we can have a good time, and then if nothing happens, dude, it doesn't really matter, right?
But if it does,
it always does.
The studio's right back there to record some other stuff.
No, but Leo and I, you know, it's funny because Leo and I actually get along, and I think that's a big part of doing good podcasts because there has to be chemistry.
Yeah.
And also, dude, it's tough. Like if I come on the mic here and I'm out, hey, like, oh, like what's happening to Flickr? How's it going? Like, I can't ask you those questions if I don't give a fuck. Like, if I didn't care, like we couldn't do 2-3 hour episodes, or you couldn't ask me about Azley if you didn't really care. You know what I'm saying?
But also off the mic, people only see the advice we give on the show, but also off. I'll never forget one time after we recorded here, we left and we went to a coffee house to try and get some editing done, and you just gave you. I was like, this is where we stand with Flickr, and you just gave all the advice. Like, if you try this, look for, I think there was a term called COCA, cost per customer acquisition. Like, this, I don't know what other stuff, but there's more that happens outside. And I think you mentioned something very key as well, as it with podcasters or people just working together in general, you need some type of good dynamics. You need some type of good chemistry. And the thing is that as funny as it sounds, we both want success. Now, people might be like, well, Prady's very successful. What does that mean? Or Leandro, he's living a good life. Like, what does that mean? What is success? How does that come into play then? The success for us means for me to achieve success, we want to achieve it at different levels, and that's I think the common theme and the common thread here is that we both want something as millennials, and we're both showing that. We're letting everybody know that no matter what stage you are in your life, you're gonna want something, and we just want success.
Right, but you have to care. What we also, you know, what's crazy about this? I don't only want my success. I want yours, and I want you to be successful. I don't care if I'm involved in that anyway. And I think that's what makes like it's mentorship or friendship, whatever. But like I think that comes across in the mic because I'm like curious. I'm like, well, what's going on? Like, I like care. So and I know I get that back from you. And I think like for a lot of people that are starting podcasts with like a co-host, like part of what people want to know on the show when they listen is they want to track your progress because they can see parallels in their life, right? When they're tracking your progress.
Sure.
But for both people on the show, they have to give a shit about each other. And I think I have seen a lot of failed podcasts because I went on a little excursion before we started our own, like what's going wrong, where people go wrong, and you just see the dynamic. They just don't really give a fuck. Like they're not brothers, and I think that really matters. Like off the camera, you need to give a shit about each other because if that's not there, dude, I'm gonna sit here and twiddle my thumb when you're Flickr. Oh, you're like, oh man, as a fuck that shit. You know what I'm saying? So. It's like, dude, I want to know, and I get super excited, and motivated.
I text you sometimes yesterday. That thought of having
100%. Yeah.
I hope you get. I mean, I don't know if
it's a great idea. Yeah.
You sure?
Yes, absolutely great idea.
I love you, dog.
No, but see, and that shit, like, who does that? Usually, like, people don't usually do that, and so they can do good podcasts. I know we disagree, but because you give a shit and I give a shit, and then that shows up here. And then people get that dynamic, and I think a lot of the comments that we get too is from people like, oh, they like Leo for this thing or Prady or the duo's good, and I think that has a big role to play when you start a project with someone else, whether it's co-founder or especially in a podcast where you don't have the visual part, so you can tell whether that communication is really there or not.
Sure. No, you're absolutely right. We wouldn't be here if we didn't want the same thing or if we didn't care about like, yo, tell me what's going on with Harrington. Tell me what's going on with you hired Jesse now. Your mom joined too. What's up, mom? But yeah, no, we that's the huge part of it. So I'm glad that
huge.
Do we hang outside? Do we hang out outside
Absolutely.
of the show? 100%.
Absolutely. I'm glad my mom missed that first part. So let's So I guess the first thing I wanted to talk about this topic because this is really important. I think a lot of guys wonder about this is status. And I think that status in general, I mean, you can talk about, from a relationship standpoint or even from like, I think how other people treat you. And I have some stories about this, but I want to ask you as well, because I know that you've kind of started all from scratch again after you have a really amazing degree and you were going in trajectory, you left that trajectory to do something else. And I think that you've, in like the last 2-3 years, if you think about how many roles that you've played in your life has, I think, transitioned so many times, like from co-host to co-founder, to someone working at, Greentown, then you have Green Solution is where you're the boss all of a sudden, so I think it teeters a lot. And I had this when I was a college student. I was a college student, and then I used to work a shitty job. Like I used to work in the Senate, and the congressman used to treat me like shit. Like I used to get sandwiches. Then I would go home, and I was the boss of my company, and everyone was looking up to me, and it was very fucked up. So.
Yeah. So the question: does
the status matter?
The status matter.
How much does it really matter?
I was always against this, dude. Remember, you would tell me all this like red pill stuff, and I'd be like, that's not no, that's not no. I'm still achieving some type of success without it. The status, I'm starting to feel like maybe it does, man. I don't know to what extent where does status stop or where do you draw the line but people just simply treat you differently when you come in with a different type of brand shoes or I don't know, if you dress differently or if they see you driving away in a certain car or even if you mention, I have my own company.
Right.
Or even mentioning, I started this new organization or something like this, People do treat you differently. Or when you tell your story to when you're trying to date somebody or when you're picking up girls at the bar, you're like, by the way, I have my own company. I do this. Then they'll be like, oh, really? Oh, this guy is someone.
Right.
That can be traced back to like thousands of years ago. I don't know. I don't know. There's studies about it. Man-woman relationship. Taking care of, I don't know what, status.
Right.
Sure. Yes. But I would say fundamentally it does. And, to go more in depth about this, we can talk about this some other time. But I think...
But is it a good thing, or should people pursue that? Like, does it matter?
How do you use your status, and what kind of influence do you have?
Right.
And how do you use your influence? I think that's the real question everybody should answer for themselves.
Agreed. I think a big thing. I think that status in itself is good, but status should be your strength and not your weakness. And I think a lot of times, like, we pursue things like we want status, we want, the money, the cars, the girls and all that shit, but it actually comes from a source of weakness because we want it so that other people can control us. And this is the really crazy shit because we pursue a path of financial independence. We want all these goods, and then we think, what's the most powerful you can be? Is it driving a Rolls? Nope. Is it having a nice car? Nope. Is it a private jet? Nope. You know what the most powerful person is? A powerful person who's independently joyous. Who's independent.
100%.
who is just independently
100%.
choice. So people think that, hey, when I have, so here's where money ties into this. When you have a lot of money, they call this FU money. You can go to your boss and just say FU. Someone says, Pray, I don't like what you're doing. FU. You just can say, we can't say FU all the time to people because we
Yeah.
can't. And
Yeah,
people
you know.
tell me, money doesn't matter. I was like, okay, go to your boss right now and tell him to fuck off. And then you're like, no, I can't do it. I was like, why? See, because you care about money, because you're afraid he's going to fire you.
Mm-hmm.
So in many ways, sometimes financial independence is tied to being independently joyous because you can tell FU to the world, to everyone.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I think where people go wrong is they pursue financial independence and then they become more dependent. Then they become dependently joyous because they still crave people's attention.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're trying to get a Rolls Royce so that you can that women will like you or that you will have more friends, then you're not independently joyous. What's the point? You should get that car so you're independent. So I can come in everywhere. I was like, dude, I don't care. I can do whatever I want because I drive a Rolls. So go F yourself. That's a different mindset. And I think for me, when a lot of people pursue status, like, dude, I want to do that so I can get chicks. And I see, especially in training, working out, bodybuilding, that people start bodybuilding, which is a lot of work. I've done some crazy shit in my life, but bodybuilding, competing is a lot of work. And I was like, why do you want to do it, man? He's like, dude, I think, girlfriend left me and I want to start bodybuilding. And I was like, dude, you're going to be fucked. You know why? Because it's so much effort to do that shit.
Right.
And in addition to that, that person left you. Now you're going to do something to take revenge back on them. But the question that I have then is like, doesn't that mean they still have power over you? So if you really want to take revenge on someone, and I say this a lot, and I'm going to get to this, why it's important, the best thing you can do is that their opinion doesn't matter anymore.
100%.
And a lot of people do something wrong. They're like, I'm gonna take revenge, so I'm gonna get a Rolls. I'm gonna take revenge, so I'm gonna make a lot of money. I'm gonna take revenge, so I'm gonna be the biggest, baddest motherfucker in the gym. That's wrong because now you did those things to still get that person's approval. So that person in the corner is still laughing at you because they still have so much power over you after they left you, after they fuck you over. You're still doing shit to please them. And I think that's the biggest thing that I always tell people. Real power is independently joyous, and you don't need to have 50 million for that. Just independently joyous. You don't. Your happiness not dependent on a single person.
But sometimes revenge can be kind of sweet, though, man. Isn't it? Revenge is kind of sweet.
Absolutely, 100%.
To show someone like, oh, remember that me of a year ago? Like, this is me now. And then
100%.
That little 1 second of like,
yes.
That feels good, right?
Yes.
And that doesn't have to be like, physical revenge or beating or whatever. It's just that I know that you know that where I am now,
right?
Opposed to a year ago, and
right.
That's the sweet revenge. But no, I mean, and then you're absolutely right. I agree with you. Like being independently happy, or I don't know, just what is it called? Like emotional freedom or something like that, or
100%. It's emotional, mental, physical, all types of like real freedom where you're basically your environment, other people, no matter who it is.
Yeah.
It can be friend, family, that you're not tied to anyone else. Because I feel the problem with other people is they're not in your control.
100%.
Yeah, it's actually funny because we're having we're going to this pod. We're having a little glitch on all fronts because our one link for the live has been lost, which means our followers are lost as well. But we keep on going, man. It's all good. I think so. I think that's a big part of this.
So status, like at the end of the day, do you think status matters? Does it matter? Yes or no? Yes or no?
Yes. If it allows you to say F you to everyone. And that status does allow you to do that. But I want people to hear the word I said, allow. And status is not an end to itself. Your car is not an end to itself. Your big house is not an instance of itself. What it does allow you to do, people all of a sudden can't say shit to you. And you can say whatever. You have a grace period. And I noticed especially like, say, male-female relationships, right? Mm-hmm. So a lot of guys, they said, dude, how do you say that to her? If I said that to her, she would have just left. And you have a bigger grace period of shit you can say and shit you can get away with because you can tell every single person to go after themselves when you have a lot of status. But you shouldn't chase that for the approval. Does that make sense? I think that's a big. I think that's a big mindfuck. A lot of young guys, I think, get lost in that quite a bit.
We can definitely go into that more. For me, yes, it does matter, but it also what's more important is how do you use your status. I think that's
right.
the most important one.
So let's get to this. So before there's another big question, but I think you just wrapped up earlier what's going on with Flickr. I know
So I guess some people are wondering how my lighter company is going.
I had 3 people ask me today on my story. Oh, wow. They were like, "Hey man, I saw Leo with the Flickr. I was in West Virginia, and my buddy John, who's there, who you haven't met, he was like, hey man, this is a guy having the Flickr. Tell me about it."
So it's Flickr hasn't gone anywhere. We're still kind of seeing what route is best to go. And long story short, we're still the update of Flickr is our potential licensee. He's going to make us a few. We have two Flickr versions. We have an actual lighter, which is the bearings and the spinners are built into the lighter, so that you can't take them apart. We also have a sleeve, which I'm holding up here.
Okay.
Well, we have it's kind of slippery.
Prototype.
Prototype is like slippery. We have two sleeves that where you will be able to get your lighter and slip it in, and then the bearing will be attached, will be built into the actual body of the sleeve. So, and then once your lighters run out, take your lighter out, toss it out, then replace it with a new one. So we're kind of experimenting with this. We're very close. All we have to do is
Yes. I actually haven't seen this type before.
yeah. This is the most recent one.
Yep.
But we're making the right connections. We have a call with somebody soon to discuss whether think about this. If this would say the Tewarie Group or whatever, or
Absolutely.
Smoke Shop, Boston Smoke Shop, or something like that. So we're trying to see how we can brand it, what the best route is to this is our you like real estate, right?
Kind of.
This could be our real estate, in a way,
Right.
100%. Like Boston Smoke Shop, or I don't know who else, Green Leaf Magazine,
Awesome.
or there's this company called Greentown Beantown on the side of it. You never know. It could be our how do you say, our unique selling point. So
right, dude. I guess like I'm super excited about this, like holding it. I think it's a great moment, and I really hope that dude, as this podcast progresses, people can keep seeing the progress with it. And actually, I feel like last few months, all of a sudden there was like a springboard, like something happened. So what happened that all of a sudden prompted you to? I feel like it was kind of lull for like quite a few months actually, and then all of a sudden I think this past 2-3 months. After we did the podcast garage in December, and then last time we came here, which I think was in February, all of a sudden this kind of like took off. What happened?
One statement: sense of urgency.
All right.
Sense of urgency. I knew that my work environment had the resources and tools necessary to make it happen. I knew that at some point that I had an expiration date on my current role. I knew that I needed to make the right connections. John, he's graduating. He's going to be out of school. What will he be doing next? He doesn't want to work where he's currently working for the rest of his life. We both put money in here. We put money down for a patent. So all these factors together, we're like, dude, are we gonna miss out on another summer? Are we gonna go another spring, summer, fall without trying to sell? Like, when people have to realize, when you have a product, that's game changing. You can have a service, but the service is more people based, and you can either be there physically yourself, like body, be there like performing the service with your employees, or somehow you are such a great motivator and people want to really work for you and be loyal to you without you being there. But then you have to become a certain person. When you have a product, it's different though, because it's something that a certain market, a niche market wants, or are very interested to have as a lifestyle product, or just they want to have a part of their life, and you can find platforms or mediums to sell this on. So that's the difference. Like a service, you can become a certain person and then sell something and or through other people, or you can have a physical something, tangible something that people really want. So for me, it was just sense of urgency to get this product up and going, so I can have. I never in a million years did I think I was gonna have a product, never. So, but I it's a lot of respect to John for initiating it and sparking it, and then just the both of us going after it. So
good shit, man. And that actually brings me to a big part what I think we want to really hit on the show, which is a question that I've gotten this quite a bit, which is what's the biggest struggle? What is the biggest struggle that you see people go through that ask you for advice, and what are some of the solutions that you really offer them? And I think this is huge because I was actually doing a little inventory with this. I was over the weekend. I went through all my DMs, and I started organizing them because I was trying to figure out like how I could help more people and see what the biggest questions are that people have. But quickly, and I think we want to keep it to the hour. Why don't you start? Well, what's the biggest thing that you see that people need help on? Actually, before you answer, let me remove that back sheet from the back. 1 second.
sounds good. Yeah.
But continue on for the lives.
Yeah, biggest struggle. I know exactly what I'm gonna answer, and I don't get nearly as many DMs as Prady does, but I do have a lot of personal interactions, and there's an underlying theme to what people are looking for, and that this is hard to pinpoint or hard to quantify or hard to, I don't know. It's just an intuitive feeling that I get, and then that's how to achieve overall positive emotional health. Like how do you become not eternally happy or not, optimistic every single, like it's hard. I mean, you try, that's the goal, right? To be optimistic every single day, but there are going to be times where you are, you feel like everything is just going to shit, really,
All right.
And I mentioned this in Buddhism a lot. There are 10 life states, and the 10th, the highest one, is like obviously like nirvana or Buddhahood or enlightenment or whatever, and then the lowest state is obviously like hell or like anger or frustration. So you have all these states and everything in between. The goal is to see how you can reach to maintain Buddhahood throughout the hardest and toughest times.
All
And
right.
so, well, they don't ask me for that, and that's not the answer I normally give. But it's how do you, how do you put up your guard to daily, to what the day has to throw at you, whether it's, someone yelling at you at work or someone degrading you at work or one of your colleagues kind of, saying demeaning shit to you or whatever it is. That's the main kind of, not virtual question, but just a question or kind of a hint that people want to know. Like, dude, how are you always so optimistic, or how do you try to be up? I mean, first of all, I have this like leave your stuff at the door, like leave your baggage at the door mentality. Like when I go into work or when I come into here, I may be having a shit day today, but I will not show that because I know the show is not going to be what we want it to be, right? Or at work, like how can you bring your stuff to work? How because you're gonna just poison everybody else, your colleagues, with it. That's one of my tactics. I try to leave everything at the door when I go into a different, like something that like a project you're trying to do, like something you're trying to provide to society. Leave everything at the door. That's one thing. I don't even know how I got to this answer, man.
No,
But
I actually think it goes to our. Actually, if you look at all the first EMs we've done, remember we talked about the parking ticket and all that shit? And I think it really, the answer is what we just talked about. I think once you get to the point where your mood and your state of mind is not affected by other people, you actually reach a sense of nirvana because the point, man, is like we as like especially as people who are really into our self-development, especially as guys, like we're built to fix shit. And so we have a natural ingrained, like we're good with our hands, like when I was younger, we just built shit all the time, right?
Right.
And so the problem is when we have problems, we want to fix it.
Right.
But the problem is sometimes other people just say, someone says to me, "You're a piece of shit." Well, I can't fix it. So then I'm like, well, I should fix it. How can I fix it? And then it drives you nuts. And
Yeah,
the
yeah,
point is
yeah.
like, dude, sometimes you can't fix shit. And then it comes back to being independently joyous too. It's like you can't fix everything. And I think that's I think the big takeaway is when shit happens in your life, you cannot control every situation.
No, you cannot control
Right.
it, but you have to understand that, like, you will not have control over everything external to you, but you can have control over stuff internal to you, which is your mind. So whenever someone calls you a piece of shit or you can't do this or whatever, or it's just it's because they can't do that or something that they are trying to impose on you, and that you just cannot let that stuff get to you.
Right.
That's I don't know how much simpler it is to say that. There are 7 billion people on this earth, dude. Like, why do you let one person influence your 24 hours? Those are your 24 hours. You can't. You get to control the 24 hours, not somebody else. If you would let 6, 7 billion other people control your time, you can't. No, just
Right.
no. That's just
Right.
that's not. You just can't let that happen.
Hey
So
to my buddy Austin Levine.
I see.
Punch him in the throat.
Don't do that, please.
Well, he's a legendary pro fighter. So
Oh shit.
this is the method.
Austin, just don't look at these arms. I don't want to get punched in the throat by this guy. It's crazy.
All right, so yeah, dude, I love that you said that. I think it's fantastic. I think I was doing a personal inventory of all the questions that I get, and like I meet and talk to honestly a lot of people that are super motivated, dude. They're the hustlers, the grinders, that are people that are staying up late at night and working on the craft. They're doing all the right things. They're saying no when they should. They're staying up and studying all night. But you know what's crazy? Somewhere or the other, you know what the biggest mindfuck with these people is, dude?
What is it?
One way or the other, every time they try to get out of their environment pulls them back. and it's like they try to make a step forward, but their environment pulls them back. And this is something that I've always said is that in one way or the other, your environment is stronger than your willpower, right? And so you have all these people that they're doing all the right things, but right when they're getting out, something is like it's pulling them back, and sometimes they can't pinpoint what it is. So I was thinking about it, and I was like, dude, if you take the most badass hustler, the most motivated, driven dudes and girls that are just killing it, and if you give them access to a network of people that are in that with them together, that want to encourage them, that want to help them. It's like a circle of people that want to make sure that you get shit done. Dude, it's a catalyst for massive growth. Yeah. This is how you get the Cristiano Ronaldos. This is how you get the Kobe Bryants. This is how you get the Bill Gates and the Jeff Bezos. The top of the cream of the crop is when you have talented, hardworking people and they're able to tap into a network that just unleashes massive amounts of fucking growth. That shit, dude, like when I'm talking about this right now, it gives me shivers because that stuff is not just good. You're not going to be good. You're going to be dangerous. You're going to be lethal, right? And I think that's a big thing. And and there's another, question we got about this, but I was thinking about this the other day. I was like, dude, I have a company right now, right? Azith. Yep. And people are buying our products aren't like, they aren't buying our products. They're not going to the Stop and Shop or a supermarket like, dude, I need some toilet paper. Let me get some Azith. Oh, I need some bananas. Let me get some Azith. Yep. They're buying Azith consciously. What they're buying for a purpose. Yep. They're buying Azith because they think and they know and deep down they understand if they have more time in their day, if they can get more shit done, dude, they're going to get to the next level. So these people, everyone on our customer list, dude, 99.9% of the people that ever go on my customer list are people who are trying to fucking kill it in their lives. Yeah. So, dude, when I was flying to West Virginia with my team, something like I had a light bulb moment and I was like, dude, if we put these people together in one group, in one small niche of people that are motivating and pushing each other, this group is going to be fucking lethal. And we've put a mission together, which is called the As a Tribe. Right. And that mission statement we have is to create the most badass and most motivating group on the fucking internet.
How can I become part of it, man? What's this one?
Dude, we're launching this program this month, right? And the good thing about it is people are going to be like, okay, how much is it? Is it like a lot of fucking money? Is it $5,000? No. Every single person that's on the subscription for Azith, everyone that gets just Azith, sent to them, once a month or twice a month on a subscription, it's just you're automatically enrolled in it. There's no extra charge to be in that group. We're gonna have, we're gonna put together some of the C-suite executives, professional athletes, some of the most hard go-getter entrepreneurs. Everyone that I have in my network, that we have in our network, is gonna be in that group. But that group's gonna be work. So you can't be in that group in a Facebook group and not do anything. You have to motivate each other and you have to talk with each other. I'm actually gonna personally do calls with people, DM people. We're gonna keep each other accountable, send people text messages. It's gonna be the most badass fucking group I think that we're ever gonna make. And that comes with when I was looking at the biggest problem that I see people have. And I think people can get in the mindset of success, they can get in the growth of success, but they can't come out of their environment of success because many people that want to be successful, dude, and this goes full circle right now, they have shit to prove. A lot of them come from broken homes. A lot of them come from families that didn't give a shit. A lot of them come from environments where just no one really cared about them, just let them do whatever the fuck they want. And they're fucking pissed. They're like, man, fuck this shit. I have something to prove in this life. Right now, enough is enough. I have something to prove. And these people, what they need is a catalyst. Like, this people that are like scouts pick them up and they bring them to great environments, they become great sport athletes. They need a catalyst. 100%. And I think that's what everyone who's in a self-development game and is like has made it to some degree, whatever, even small, big, large, you should find ways to pull other people out. Right, and I think that's the best gift that you can give because you have found something, you have a catalyst environment. If you introduce other people to your environment or you can give them something that they don't have access to, just a small catalyst, something that can, little business that needs a trigger. Maybe their business needs an approval. Maybe their business needs someone they need to talk to. Maybe their business needs paperwork, something. That trigger,
that spark
can do momentous things with them. And so that's what we're launching here with the As a Tribe. But that goes back to the biggest struggle that I see all the time. I don't even think that people are that lazy as people always come up. Millennials are always lazy. I don't know. Are they? You know what I'm saying? So I think there's a lot of lazy millennials, but there are also ones that are actually trying to do shit and they just don't have the environment to do it.
100%. I was going to ask you what the tribe was, and because I always see the hashtag tribe 5.
Yeah. So there's the concept of 9 to 5. Yeah. We have a different concept. We're 5 to 5. We wake up at 5 o'clock. So if you have 4 hours extra in your day, we calculated you can start a side hustle. You can spend more time on starting a sport or something. You can get to the next level. It just takes the extra few hours that people aren't spending. People get to work at 9. We start at 5 o'clock, and that extra that extra 4 hours can make a massive difference. So
Huh.
it's basically saying F you to the status quo,
Yep.
F you to how shit is usually done, and we're
Yep.
doing something a little different.
Interesting. Hey, I'm looking forward to seeing, hearing, seeing, following. Let me get in on the subscription. Man.
Absolutely, man. It's a pretty simple thing. Like you can order 1 bottle a month, and that's
Yeah.
just for people who just trying to get some brain fog and maybe you're feeling tired. And the people who really want to get to the next level, ordering like 2 bottles a month. That either way, you're gonna access to the membership. But the big takeaway from all of this has to do with EM, and this has to do with why Leo and I are here, and like why are we spending time and energy and effort. Why are we doing that? We're not really, we say, dude, where's a check that we're getting from Instagram? Where's all this shit?
No check.
We have entrepreneurs on our show, and you and I spend hours. The other day, I spent 7.5 hours. I counted just doing a podcast, right?
Yeah,
so
man.
I was up all night, but I didn't call Paris. Yo, where's my check, bro? I didn't do that. Why? Because I feel, dude, if someone else, even if it's one person, right? I don't know how many people are watching. One person in Brazil, in Africa, whatever. I don't care whether you're Chile. I don't give a shit. If one person is like, dude, I'm working all my time, but you know what? I just don't have the environment, man. I don't know what the fuck to do. I don't know who I can talk to. If one person reaches out to us or listens to us, like, dude, it changed my life. Dude, you saved my life. I was going to kill myself. Someone wrote that.
Man. Yeah.
And these are all real letters we get. Isn't that fucking amazing? So I feel that success. And I think where you and I agree is also giving back. And I feel super
100%.
strongly. It's a duty, a more compass duty that you have. And that's what EM is really about. It's a community that we want to just give back.
That's perfect way to kind of conclude and just deliver the main point that we're here to give back. Like you're absolutely right. Prady mentioned we don't get money from this.
Nope.
And that's fine. I mean, all the content, everything, like we're sharing our lives, part of our lives with you guys. Like our
and
journey,
spending our own money to do all this shit.
Our own
Yeah,
money.
that's true.
Like, I mean,
Right.
I'm literally working a job to help fund these things that we're doing, and I'm happy to do it. If I can find a good little snippet from the editing that we get, and I can share that with the world. Hey, the best. Hey, go check I uploaded more content on our YouTube channel.
Oh, good.
So I'm gonna upload everything on
Fuck
YouTube.
yeah. Okay.
So that it's not lost in Instagram or it's lost in our stories. Everything's gonna be on YouTube. So.
And if anyone listening wants to help out, let us know. Send us a message. The mpodcast@gmail.com, and we're always looking for some help, and that would always be nice. But I think the big takeaway from that is, guys, girls, you listening to this shit, you're getting a lot of shit away from this. You're growing in your own life. This conversations. We're not here to preach. Like, we don't give lectures. We don't preach. We don't. It's not about that. Like, I know we rant. I definitely rant. But I'm not telling you. I'm not forcing everything. I just, dude, if you want to do it, that's great. And if you don't want to do it, that's fine. I'll just tell you what I think, right?
Yep.
But as you go and as you start something, this didn't exist 2 years ago. If you start this, make sure someone out there is like, hey, man, I want to get started, but I don't know, like, what should I do, man? They're gonna hit you up. Please help them out.
100%.
And I think that's a big. It's just a part of your duty. And I think that don't get so worried about. Oh no, I'm not gonna help you out. You're gonna kick me out of my fucking business. It's not
No
like
way.
that, man.
No
Because you help someone out, and your network will grow. And it's just a way of life, man. You give, and the more you shall receive. I live by that. I've yet honestly no one. Most people that I've helped that really gave a shit, they've usually come back and helped me back. I haven't met anyone that has really fucked me. I mean, it happens, but it's rarely. Okay, so I would definitely recommend people doing it. Do your own podcast, give back, blog, do all this shit, and just give back. I think it makes the world a little better.
100%. Because alone you can only get so far, but then together you're just a force. You're literally a force, like a movement, like together.
100%.
What's that? Maybe the saying, like, if you want to go far, go alone. If you want to go fast, go together.
I agree.
Something like that. But you guys know the quote. But,
Yeah.
But it just ended because we have only about a minute left. Massive thank yous to everybody just following the Enlightened Millennial. It's been a year, and we're going into year 2 now, man. I mean, officially year 2, and
right.
We can be found on Instagram. We're very active on Instagram. We're very active with answering questions, and I hope to get more into this. We're very active with getting guests on. So if you Who knows? I don't know where you listen to from now. I
We
mean,
got Adam Walensky on from the UK. Actually, he's a friend of the show.
oh,
And
yeah, okay.
yeah, and
Okay.
he is also see how networking works. He's
Yeah.
helped Azeth actually grow in the UK quite a bit. So super appreciative. But this is going part like to end it off. You need people as a catalyst of growth to really succeed and to move a little faster. And I think that this is just the best way to do it. So appreciate you, Adam, and dude, appreciate you, dude, every day.
Appreciate you, dude. Every
All
single
right,
day, man.
guys,
All
let's
right,
wrap it up.
All right.